you better get me my 2-ton out. Go and get me my 2-ton out, which they didn't read this until the next morning.
Brandon, Jay owed you 2 ton. Now this may have been an oversight. Did anyone else pick this up? It was picked up by World Entertainment News. Go and subscribe to them if you haven't. They're the robot voice. They do quite good content. And it was picked up in a podcast. I won't mention the podcast. I can't remember what it was called anyway because I didn't watch it. That's probably why. There is a reason why. Because that podcast seemed to air on The View with the woman interviewing another woman, air on the view of the accident group. Not really my belief. Perhaps I should have watched it all the way through. Anyway, let's just discuss. It's a short video, I promise. Let's discuss. And welcome to Aldon's Reviews and True Crime. So what is 2 ton? It's presumed by the powers that be at the inquest that 2 ton was money, so £200. Excuse me. But was it? Does it mean 2 ton, literally £200? Does it mean that? Does it mean something else?
Another friend that is pictured in a couple of the holiday pictures of Jay in Tenerife prior to him going missing, called Brandon Hodge. He was referred to as Hodgie by his friends. Now, he didn't appear much in the initial investigation side of things. He didn't do any press interviews. He didn't come forward with much information, whereas Lucy and Brad had been a bit more forthcoming. But Hodgie had been in touch with him quite a bit on messages the night before he went missing, and into the early hours of the morning. And there was a suggestion that Jay had been thrown out of the club, and the messages corroborated that. He'd said that he'd been thrown out of the club and the security had their eyes on him, that he couldn't get back in. Brandon was insistent that he got back in. There was another message from Brandon that never really got explained. He said, "Yo, do you think I'm some crusty something or other? After everything I've done for you, I've looked after you for donkey's years." So he was trying to find Jay. Jay wasn't responding to him, so I think he got quite upset about him not replying to him. There was another message from Brandon to Jay on the night that the police were able to mention in the inquest, where he'd said to him, "You better get me my 2 ton out. Go and get me my 2 ton out." Jay didn't read this until the next morning.
I'm just carefully treading around this one because we don't want to just jump in. As you do, MWT, if you're watching, you just jump in and, 2 ton, 200. It might be something different, but let's just say it was £200. He said in his text message, Brandon, to Jay. Now, while Jay was missing, apparently, and he wasn't getting an answer off of Jay, and he said, "Don't forget, you owe me 2 ton. How it was said, I don't know. A text, you can't really tell, can you? You better get my 2 ton. You better get my 2 ton out. So just ask him why. So, Brandon, you couldn't be bothered to go to the inquest. Did you know about it? I don't know. Where were you? Are you in Tenerife? Because apparently you're... relations, is it parents, relations, auntie, or whoever have got a place out in Tenerife. You might be young and own a property out there. I don't know, but your brother might own it, perhaps. Your brother, you know. Besides the point. So, why did he owe you money? We can brainstorm, which is kind of assuming, can't we? Were you dealing him something that merited him owing you money for it? Could have been legal, could have been something totally innocent. I don't know, it doesn't look I don't know. It's just one suspicion after another. It just doesn't sit right with me as such. I don't know if you explain it, but the thing is, now you know about it, you've got a long time since the next inquest, you can explain it in your own way, which we know before that you did tell Porkies about knowing Ahab to the phone on MWT's little phone calls. So I'm just wondering what it could be. He owed you, so you just lent him some money. Perhaps that was it. You lent him some money. Yeah. Stick with that one when you're questioned about it. But yeah, I didn't know about that text. But this was discovered by a woman in that podcast with that other woman that was biased. I switched it off straight away because it was so biased. It was unbelievable. That woman was in the inquest, and that came out in the inquest. So it was within one of the texts that the police found when they looked at Jay's phone. So it was within there. I shouldn't presume, but that was what was coming across. It was a text. So can we say it was a factual text? Well, if we go on what the accident group says, or what MWT says, things like that are factual. So if we do go on that, it was put out there and said. So I don't know whether he'd be scared of you if he only owed you £200, but yeah, with Ahab saying what I thought was he's effed off with the cat rather than on the cat. There was some discrepancy. Some people say it was something different. I heard what I heard, but it looks like he could have owed Ahab money, and he could have owed Brandon. Well, he did owe Brandon 2 ton, whatever 2 ton was. Very odd. It's very odd. I only wanted to put that one out there. I didn't want a long video. But let's just mull over that. And put down in the comments what you think and whether I'm just coming up with insignificant things. Total insignificant things. It could be. Maybe it's the way some of our minds are working, and I said before in my previous video, if you watched a previous video, about the psychological effects on the mind and when you're under pressure or when certain suspicions come out and it leads on to other suspicious things and you're thinking different things, but not conspiracies. Conspiracy theorists. Boom. I don't think so. Anyway, that's 2 videos. That's quite a lot for me, isn't it? So I better get on. And when you do lay your head down, as I will be, don't have any nasty dreams. Thank you for watching.